Welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner, Week 7 of the high school football season. Kicking things off with me for this opening segment is Lakeview head coach Kurt Frenzen, coming off a 1-1 win and loss since we last talked to you. Coach, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Our kids are definitely getting out each and every day trying to improve and bring great attitudes to the practice field and giving great effort on Friday nights. So all things considered, things are going pretty good right now.
All right, Coach, we're going to look back 2 weeks before we get into last week and then look ahead since we didn't have a show last week. You played number 6 Wahoo. You went to their house, a very big game, and scoreboard was a 1-point differential. You fell 14-13. Just give the viewers a brief capsule of what happened in that game.
We moved the ball a little bit in the first half, but not to the extent that we would like. We had some missed assignments. We had some miscues that we had, and so we weren't very clean that first half. But we were encouraged because I felt like our defense overall was playing pretty decent, and we were making them earn everything they got. And then the second half, we came out, got a 3-and-out to start the second half with them on offense, and our offense took the field, went on a very time-consuming drive and scored in the third quarter. And then we held again, another time-consuming drive, mixing the run-up between our rushing yards came primarily between Dylan Johnson and Trent Roth and Trey Shanks, so kind of hamming and egging with those three. Chase Lindbergh had a big night for us as well. He actually got our first touchdown and got our first score for us. So between those four, we really had a big night. But then we scored our second touchdown with about 4 minutes left, and we had all 3 timeouts, and we went out, and unfortunate for us, we missed an extra point. But after that missed extra point, we still had 2 offensive possessions. We still had 2 opportunities to score. And actually, on the first possession after we missed the extra point, we called a play-action pass, and Austin Fultz, our tight end, and got behind the secondary, was wide open. We just couldn't connect with him. Just overthrew it by maybe a foot. So it was just a little bit of a timing issue. It looked like it was overthrown a lot farther than that, but it wasn't even close to where you thought it was overthrown. It was actually a lot closer than we thought on film, and so that was tough. But once again, we hadn't really used any timeouts, so they got the ball back with about 2:20 left. Ran some clock, but we were able to use our timeouts, and we got the ball back with about a minute. Close to midfield, actually picked up a first down, got another 8 yards. They had jumped our 2 previous plays. We'd ran slants, and they jumped our slant route, so we ran a slant and go on our third play from scrimmage, and the receiver couldn't shake loose, let's just put it that way. And they made a good play on the ball, intercepted the ball to end the game. But it was an outstanding high school football game, and one that we wish we could have got out of there with a win. But all things considered, we went down and played very hard. Our effort level was there. Now we just need to bring the mental aspect of it a little bit more. Well,
in the silver lining, too, you kind of gauge your team, and you're playing a ranked opponent at home, a good team, and you can see where you guys are at, just falling 1 point. And then you took that momentum, I guess, or that positive from it, and had a very strong performance against North Bend Central the following week.
Yeah, our kids did a good job coming out and, having short-term memory, just resetting things and getting back to work. So we went to North Bend Central and looking to get back in the winning ways. And I thought our kids came out and played defense really well. Connor Werman there with a good stop to start things off for our defense. And then Nick Dolzel on a edge blitz for us out of our outside backer coming in, and they had a good strong vertical game, and we were able to stop that. On offense, we had a nice night doing some things passing the ball, but we had some early production from Trent Roth and Dakota Prorock there. Obviously DJ, our quarterback, Dylan Johnson. But our strength was our rushing game. Nice option play, or sprint option play from Dylan Johnson to Trey Shanks, and that was our first touchdown to go up 7-0. And I thought we got off to a really good start, all things considered there. But defensively, again, that was a big night for us. We held them, I think, to 160 yards of total offense. Just outstanding plays there like that from Jordan Jansen in the open field. We had a lot of open field tackles as well. And then come back with that with solid rushing night again from our offense. Trey Shanks had a big night, almost 140 yards, and then Trent Roth chipped in 178. So you have your 2 main backs there in that 150-yard rushing range, and then DJ's going for about 63 that night with a nice run there on a quarterback keeper. So just some good things out of our offense all the way around. I thought the story of the game, honestly, was our defense, though, just rallying the football like they did. Trey Shanks here on a nice inside zone play for us. He had a nice cut at the line of scrimmage and then broke a couple tackles. Again, it was good to see us get going in the third quarter because we'd struggled a little bit in the first quarter with just some penalties and those type of things. But big hits out of our D-line. Our D-line continues to grow and do a great job on their part. Trent Roth continues just to get stronger as the game goes on. I think that's one thing that he really brings. It seems like he, as the game goes on, he just gets a lot of production for our offense. Trey really did a nice job with our off-tackle plays and do a nice job running the football for us the other night. And again, does start up front our offensive line with a big hole to run through there. All in all, a good night, and we did see some big production on our offense. We had over 500 yards of total offense, 450 of that coming on the ground. And then defensively, I think North Bend had 100 or so yards total offense until their final scoring drive. So we felt good about where our defense was at as well. One thing we got to clean up, though, is penalties. There was 130 yards of penalties, and we can't have that moving forward in our last 3 games. We're going to have a lot cleaner games in all those games if we want to be successful.
Well, I'm talking to you, Coach. I talked to you at practice yesterday with that win, 3-3. So with 3 games remaining, where does that put you with the playoff picture, the wild card? You know, you have 3 games left. What do you need to do?
Best thing about this whole deal is we control our own destiny. We don't have to rely necessarily on anybody else. We went out, looks like we'll be in. So at this time of year, to have that, or you have that own power in your own hands and you can dictate where you're going to be at in 4 weeks, that's a good thing to have. If we lose one, I don't know if we're mathematically eliminated, but we would need a lot of help, and we don't want to be in that situation.
Well, the next step of that journey of controlling your own destiny is this Friday. You're hosting Bishop Neumann, a team that fell to SCOTUS last week. They're still number 10, though, and a good team. What do you expect to see from the Cavaliers? What's the scouting report?
Well, they're very balanced. I mean, as you look at them, obviously they would prefer to run the football. They've always been traditionally a triple option team, run a very good veer team. They run a little quarterback read stuff. Their quarterback has really developed into a nice passer as well. So he's done a great job in the offseason. You could tell putting hours and work in doing that. And they've got nice skill players to go with them. Our message to our team is, listen, they're going to get some plays. We just got to limit the big plays. They're going to get some pass completions. We just got to limit the yards they get after they make the catch. And make them drive the field on us, and when they do put the ball down on the ground, we get on it and make sure we're getting plus in turnover ratio. If we can do that, our defense is going to have a good shot to have a successful night. And their defense, the biggest thing I'll tell you, they play hard. When you put tape on their defense, they play downhill. They get to the football in a hurry. You can tell that they've been well coached in what they do. We're not going to see a bunch of different looks. They don't do a bunch of junk defenses. This is a lineup. This is who we are. We're going to play hard, and you're going to have to match our intensity. And if you don't, you're going to be in for a long night. So, the things that we see from them, quite honestly, are just very well-coached football team that is going to come out and give you your best shot effort-wise. So we just got to make sure that we're in the same type of frame of mind, that we come out with great effort and play downhill as well.
All right, Coach. Well, as always, wishing you the best of luck on Friday. Exciting times for the Vikings, so hoping for another W for you.
Yeah, it's going to be a gorgeous night out there, and we're just excited to get going. To have a ranked opponent coming to our place again is exciting for our kids, exciting for our coaching staff and community. We're just ready to roll, and couldn't ask for anything else this late in the season. Like I said, again, to control our own destiny and have that opportunity to go to postseason is awesome to have, and we just need to take full advantage of it.
That's head coach Kurt Friends, and you heard it right there. Looking for a big win Friday night against Bishop Neumann. Stay with us on Coach's Corner. We'll be back with the second segment with SCOTUS head coach Tyler Linder. Welcome back to Coach's Corner for our second segment of this Week 7 edition of the show. With me is SCOTUS head coach Tyler Linder, coming off a big win on Friday. Coach, how are you doing? Your team's still undefeated.
Doing very well. Thanks for having me.
Glad you're here. We're going to talk about last week, but also 2 weeks ago to catch people up on things. You played a good team in David City, or a local team. You had a good performance, though.
Yeah, we came into the David City High week and we were firing on all cylinders. I think we won the game 42-14, and I think our team made a step, that week. And so you had great individual performances, but I was also really impressed. We got a lot of younger guys in there early, and they got some valuable experience. And I saw some nice things, especially from our number twos. I was really excited for those guys to get in the game.
A name that sticks out, we'll give him some props to Recky. We called that game, and I think he had a touchdown or two. I'd never seen him before, so that was nice to see those young guys, like you said, getting some PT.
Yeah, I'm really excited that Luke's on our roster now. Luke Drecke is a transfer in. His family moved here from Grand Island, so we're really happy to have him. But he fits in really well with our guys, and he's starting to show that he understands our offense and defense a lot more. So we're putting a little bit more trust in him. And so he had a great game, as well as many other Shamrocks did the other night.
Well, and you carried that momentum over into last week. You played a very highly ranked Bishop Neumann team. You went to their place, and you actually had a better score than the David City, 44-0. You shut these guys out. We're going to look at highlights, but talk us through that game and what really happened Friday night.
The SCOTUS and Bishop Neumann rivalry is something that's taken on, like a full head of steam as of late, with the basketball rivalry and now with football. And I think our guys came out and played extremely well. This very first drive that we had the other night was a 13-play drive that took 7 minutes off the clock, and we converted 2 third downs and 1 fourth down. I mean, it was a very, very tough and long drive, and they answered right away. They had a nice drive of their own. They were coming down, and our defense really stepped up in the red zone. You're going to see here that we forced a turnover on an option play, and Evan Shohan falls on it, and we're able to kind of turn around and do some more damage with our offense on their defense. So our guys were executing at a very, very high level last Friday night, and we beat a very good Bishop Neumann team. That score doesn't really reflect how good of a team that they can be. I really do believe that they'll do some nice things even in the playoff picture. So Coach Turman's got a great squad there in Bishop Neumann, but very happy how our guys came out and played.
It's been serious, and who came in the touchdown. Some other things, when I just looked through the highlights, Brady Prismus, another interception by the defense, but he really seemed like he kind of came into his own. He made some passes, but also was scrambling a little bit.
This is without a doubt Brady Prismus' best game that he's played in the Shamrock uniform. Very, very impressed with the way that he commanded the offense and made plays when there wasn't. You'll see it here, right? He pulls it down and he gets a first down out of it in a very crucial situation. So very proud of that young man. He led a very, very well-rounded offensive attack last Friday night.
Obviously, you see some big defensive plays here. Nothing new. Your team is aggressive. You like to get after the quarterback, but like we talked about earlier, I really think some people around the state raised some eyebrows when they saw that scoreline.
Yeah, I would say that not only the scoreline, but some of the statistics that we were able to put up on the offensive side and the defensive side. We held a really good Bishop Neumann in check with under 150 yards of total offense, and we held him to less than 8 yards passing. We forced 3 turnovers, and so very impressed with the way that our secondary played, and that's a huge testament to the athletes that we have on the field. But again, I think we've got one of the best coaching staffs in the state of Nebraska, and so really happy with our secondary. Coach Gonka, Coach Appelon, Coach Grubaugh, and Coach Brzezinski do a phenomenal job in our defensive secondary with our outside backers, and just performed really, really well. This is probably the best I've seen our team play in quite some time.
So you have to remember, what did you do that week leading up to that game? Did you do anything special that inspired that performance, or is it just a matter of we're in week 7 now and you're just becoming that well-oiled machine?
Well, I think, we're into district play already. We're 2 weeks into district play, and so our guys know that, we want to go undefeated. We want to run the table. But you got to do that week to week. And I think the boys saw Neumann as one of the biggest challenges in our district. And there was a different feel on the sidelines before the game last Friday night. We're usually a pretty laid back kind of, go with the flow type of team. But our guys were dialed in. I saw a lot of wide eyes on Friday night, and that carried through the whole game. It wasn't just pregame. It was even at halftime. Our guys kept the pedal down the entire time, and it was really impressive to see.
Well, and you're hoping that carries over to this week, another Wahoo team, Wahoo High itself. They're also a top 5-6 team in the state, and so it's, what is it, that your 5th ranked opponent in 7 games, but what do you expect to see from the Warriors?
They're a quality team. They've got some really nice athletes. I think the Rosichka kid at tight end and split end is a phenomenal kid, and their quarterback play is very nice, and Coach Fox just has a nice program there. So excited to see what we can do on Friday night. I can't promise an outcome like we had last week. But I think if our boys show up and execute their assignments and stick to the game plan that Coach Pellin has offensively and myself defensively and Coach K has in the special teams game, we're going to be just fine.
Sort of just wrapping this thing up, 2 weeks after this week's game, remaining on the schedule. Where do you see your team right now? You appear to be pretty healthy. You had a great performance last week. Do you like where your guys are at? Are they in the right spot, the right mindset, and physically? How do you feel about where your team's at?
I feel really good. I think we've grown each and every week. We've taken a step in the right direction. This year is unique in the fact that we haven't had any slip-ups and we've had to go back and correct things. We can continue to enhance our offense and perfect things on defense, but really, all in all, I'm very pleased with where we sit. Obviously, being undefeated going into district play and taking on another quality opponent like Wahoo gives you a lot of confidence. But one of the messages I try to send to our kids, especially this week, is we have to stay humble and hungry. Okay, so we can't let our past successes elevate our emotions too much. We got to stay even keeled and in check, but we got to stay hungry. We can't be satisfied with what we've accomplished. We got to continue to strive for more. And if we want a district championship and a great playoff run, we have to be 1-0 each and every week. And so Wahoo High presents a lot of challenges, but our guys have proven to rise up to challenges. And I'm just excited to see how we respond this Friday night.
All right, Coach. Well, as always, wishing you guys the best of luck. You look to remain undefeated and take on that Wahoo team.
Hey, thanks a lot.
That wraps up this second segment of Coach's Corner. Here, that's Coach Tyler Linder. The Shamrocks 6-0, looking to make it 7-0 after Friday night. Stay with us. We're going to hear from head coach Craig Williams of the Columbus Discoverers as they get ready to take on Omaha Westside. And welcome back to our third and final segment here on Coach's Corner. Our marquee featured game of the week is going to be Columbus Discoverers taking on Omaha Westside. And with me to discuss that game in the past 2 weeks is head coach Craig Williams. Coach, how you doing?
Always happy to be here. Thank you.
Well, we're glad to have you as well. We don't want to look too much into the past, but we didn't have a show last week, so we're going to look 2 weeks back. Omaha Burt came in. Just give us a brief overview of what happened in that game.
Our kids, the week of Omaha Burt kind of rededicated themselves to coming out and practice and really focusing and giving us everything they had, every snap in practice. It carried over to the game on Friday night. I mean, Burke's a very good football team. They're going to be a playoff team. They're sitting at 3-2 right now, and I believe their losses are to some very good teams. But we went down and we jumped out to an early lead. The game kind of went back and forth. We trailed 17-14 at halftime. They started the second half with kind of a goofy kickoff where they actually fumbled. The play looked like it had been blown dead, and then one of their kids picked it up and ran it in for a touchdown. So we're chasing 14 points the entire second half, and we get it to within a score. They're late in the game and didn't get an onside kick with 3 minutes left and got beat by 7 points. So it was an exciting football game, one that our kids played very well against a very good football team.
And so it was a close game. You saw some improvements. Then you had to turn right around next week and took on a very good Omaha South team, or an athletic Omaha South team, we'll say, that has a good tight end and some playmakers, obviously. They always have athletes. We'll take a look at some highlights here. But what was sort of the game and the way that played out? When I was watching film, it really kind of looked like a shootout, especially in that second quarter.
Yeah, and it's anytime you have to deal with the athletes that Omaha South have, it's scary. And we felt like we matched up fairly well in most positions, but a couple of the athletes they have are just over the top. The Noah Fant kid, number 45, just had a huge game for us, or for Omaha South. On the offensive side, scored 3 touchdowns, 160-some yards receiving. So just a very difficult matchup for us. I mean, he's signed with the University of Iowa next year. And the good side of things, we came out and they were bringing all kinds of pressure here early in the game. And we decided to get our tailback involved in the pass game because it's harder to account for him when you're bringing that type of pressure. And basically, this was a Colton Wolf drive. We hit him over the middle a couple times on some pass plays, and then he springs it through here for a 20-yard touchdown run. We run the same play to him again, and we get him again and get a big chunk of yards. And then we bring a sophomore in here, and we run a play to score a touchdown coming back across the field. But here you can see the speed of a 6'5", 230-pound tight end right there, just running away from people after he makes a catch. Just an outstanding football player. This is Dallas Oberg setting up another score for us, and I'll tell you what, I felt like that catch right there was one of the best I've seen in the last 10 years at Columbus High, and I guess here is Caleb Esch punching it in on a nice play again from Landon Broderick, who really threw the ball well on Friday night, threw for about 62% and a little over 200 yards. So, and then this was kind of the dagger right there, right before halftime. They got one right before halftime to push it out to a 2-score lead. And again, that was Noah Fant going up over the top of a couple of our DBs. So, just a tough matchup for us, and he had an excellent night.
Touching more on Broadbeck, he stepped in, he had a 4-quarterback race, didn't know who was going to start this season, and it seems like he's really taken over. Just looking at those passes and the touch he's putting on it, are you pleased with the development you're seeing with him?
Yeah, he's a gamer. And he sees different looks. We didn't expect the type of pressure that we were getting from Omaha South, but he did a great job standing in the pocket, standing true and making good passes. And he's really done that the last 3 weeks. Made good decisions. We did have one interception in this game, but one interception in the last 4 weeks. As a quarterback's coach, you can live with that. And so he's made good decisions. And you're right, he won the job and through a good battle this summer. And Michael Cook, the backup, is. He's done nice things for us. He led us to a touchdown in the Burt game when it was still up for grabs. So we've got some very, very capable guys there. And Landon, has kind of separated himself a little bit, but he's really stepped up the last few weeks.
And we saw Colton Wolf on there in a couple of highlights, making those big catches as well. Oberg, the one I believe who had that highlight reel catch, which you said is the best you've seen. But are you kind of working with your offense to start implementing that pass to the running back more, that since you had so much success against South?
Well, we've always had it in the package. We haven't had to go to it quite as extensively, just because we haven't seen that type of pressure this year. They were locking up on our wide receivers and trying to take them out. And you got to remember they are athletic, so it was more difficult for the receivers to get open. Now after we did throw the ball to our tailback a couple of times, they backed off and it opened up the rest of our offense a little bit more. But it's always been there. We just had to rely on it more this last game.
All right, moving forward, we have Westside coming up. I also want to just talk about the state of your team. You're still searching for that first win, and something we didn't mention in that Burt game, you did lose Brady Dugan for the rest of the season. How does that affect your team, and where else do you have any other guys banged up, or how are you sitting team-wise going into this final stretch?
Well, it's week 7 of a football season, and we got a lot of dings and bruises and things like that, and a lot of guys are day-to-day, and they spend a lot of time in the training room, probably too many to go through right now. As of right now, I don't know of anybody but anybody from last game that's going to be sitting out of this game. We do get Mankey back, who sprained his ankle in the Burt game and didn't play last week. But the unfortunate one is Brady Dugan. He's a two-way starter for us and a crucial factor on our special teams. He tore his ACL and he's rehabbing that right now to get it strong enough to have some surgery here as soon as they can get the swelling down and the strength up in the knee. He was a very aggressive player for us, and that's what this football team needs, and that's what we've been trying to build is aggression among the guys. And so he's going to be missed. Fortunately, he is just a junior, and he'll have his senior year to come back for. He's been out there in practice every day and cheering his teammates on and trying to coach them up.
All right, Coach. Well, obviously, we're wishing him the speedy recovery as well, coming back for a strong senior year. Wrapping this thing up, though, you're our game of the week. You're taking on Westside, a good top 10 team. What do you expect to see from the Warriors? What do they bring?
Well, preseason, I felt like Westside was maybe the team to beat in the state, and I'm not going to back off of that too much. I still think they're a top 4 team. They have been beat by Bell West and Grand Island. Both teams right now are still 6-0, number 1 and 3 in the state, and Westside falls in there at number 4. So, this is a legitimate state championship contending team. They have a quarterback that is big and physical and can absolutely sling the ball around. Best quarterback we'll see this year. They got some big, tall receivers. Their line is huge, and their running backs are big and fast. So you put all that together, we're going to have to play very well. And, we're going to have to bring effort and 100% effort by 11 guys on every single play. And if we do that, we are physical enough and talented enough that we can hang in there and we can give ourselves a shot to win in the fourth quarter. And that's what we got to try to do is stay close and try to make it a one-possession game in the fourth quarter. Us ahead, us behind, whatever it has to be, but then to win that thing right there at the end.
All right, Coach. Well, we'll be there broadcasting it. I'll be calling it. We're looking forward for a big upset on Friday night.
All right, thank you very much.
Well, that wraps up this week's 7 edition of Coach's Corner. That's head coach Craig Williams. The Discoverers taking on a big ranked team in Omaha West Side. We'll be there broadcasting it. Be sure to check us out live on columbusnewsteam.com. He's Craig Williams. I'm Brandon Axford, and that wraps up this week's show. Thank you for watching.